What's going on, y'all? Back again with another one. And this time, we got Mase and Kwame Brown reacting to the comments Stephen A. Smith made about Jaylen Brown. Now, hold up. This whole back and forth didn't just appear overnight, because this tension has honestly been building for at least the last year and a half, especially after Jaylen Brown got left off Team USA. That's when Stephen A. started saying Jaylen supposedly isn't very popular among certain players and people connected around the league, and girl, that instantly turned this into a major storyline. Jaylen Brown responded by basically saying, "All right then, name your sources." Now listen to this. One thing we do know for sure is that there are definitely some powerful people upset with Jaylen Brown behind the scenes. Everybody already knows the Nike connections tied into USA basketball allegedly have Jaylen looking like an outsider politically. That's a big reason people were shocked seeing him not even listed as a serious candidate for the 2028 roster despite finishing top 10 in MVP voting this season. And honestly, this is where NBA politics starts getting real messy. Because when you're talking about elite players all sitting in that same upper tier talent-wise, sometimes it's not just basketball ability separating people anymore. A lot of the time, it becomes about relationships, branding, influence, and who powerful people are more comfortable pushing to the front. And whether fans want to admit it or not, that side of the game absolutely matters when decisions get close. So yeah, we're about to get into some of the comments that were made, because this situation is starting to get way deeper than basketball.
When I think about this, Jaylen Brown has the right to do what he wants to do outside of basketball. And when people start putting these narratives out there, this is what happens, right? We have these platforms. We can make people look right. We can make people look wrong. And sometimes when people are talking, they have other reasons why they're saying what they're saying. Like, there's so many moving parts, Pauls, and there's so many things going behind the scenes. I don't think you guys even know what's really going on with this. Like, when you hear somebody say, this is how the team feels, or this is how the city feels about you. How do you know what the whole city feels? Like, you know the whole city? Like, we gotta start listening to what people are really saying. And I'm not against Stephen A. I'm not for Jaylen Brown if he's doing something crazy. I'm one of those people, right is right and wrong is wrong, but I hate this. I hate with a passion when people that have real powerful platforms take their platform and it seems like they only say something negative about this person. Like they're creating the narrative about this person. And that's how Jaylen Brown feels. I understand that. I often spoke about this. Me and Charlamagne been good since then, but there was a time when I felt like every time he got a chance to speak about me, it was going to be something negative. And that's when you personally feel about somebody. And you tell me, Stat, when you were trained in journalism, are you supposed to feel a certain way about a person and that spew out through your journalism?
No.
No, not at all. That's not good journalism. And I'm not gonna say that he's doing bad journalism, but that's how it begins to come across to Jaylen Brown, right? Because he's like, why you can't say nothing good about me? Am I not the light-skinned player on the team? Is that why you can't give me the credit? You know I was slighted on the Olympic team. You know I deserve to be on this team. But the talks behind the scene, and for all of you that desire to get into journalism, all of you that desires to get into this thing, this world wide web of sports, right? You got to pay attention that and if you want to be in certain circles, you got to play certain games. And everybody is not playing those games. Everybody don't play them. And can't nobody tell me nothing different. I personally think that this is one of those situations where they need to sit down. They need to sit down, because me being a person looking from the outside, I know what I know. I know what my eyes tell me. I know what's going on with our sports show. I know what will be on Sports Center in a matter of minutes. I'm not no dummy. I know exactly what's going on. That's why sometimes I wonder, do you guys know what's going on? That's why I ask you, do you know what's going on right now? Can you see with your eyes what's going on? I know what's going on. And I speak in code because sometimes I'm by myself. So I can't really tell everybody everything I know. But in a matter of minutes, in a matter of hours, I will begin to say everything I know.
About Kwame be crying, Kwame be doing this. I said this was Stephen A's job. I want you to pay attention to what he admits that he can do. This guy openly admitted, do you want me? This is supposed to be just a basketball journalist. He's just supposed to be reporting on the game. His job shouldn't be that significant, right? Stephen A is harmless. He's just focusing on X's and O's in basketball, the game he knows and loves, that he couldn't play with a damn. But he says in this video everything and how systematically he tears down players' contracts. And he's always a friend to white folk, but he's always aggressive towards black folk. Every time a black male athlete, a black person, period, says something to Stephen A, they're met with a threat on First Take, and then now he goes over to his own channel and do a whole segment on him. But Stephen A. Smith, how did you get so much power that you can get the team and everybody to go against Jaylen Brown, shoe deals and everything like that? He's going to openly admit this on airway. Thank you, Stephen A. Smith. You just vindicated me. All this Kwame is just mad about his basketball career. I feel sorry for him. Don't feel sorry for me. First of all, there's a God up above who I serve that's watching over me. You should know that, dummy, because he's supposed to be watching over you as well. So don't ever think you have that type of power and authority that even if you block somebody in your world that you live in sports, God will open up another door. So people that live like that and live by that, they don't give a damn about your threat, Stephen A. Smith. You're a small peon. So be careful with all that macho man mouth you got. You should probably humble yourself a little bit. But let's let Stephen A. tell you exactly.
Now listen, what Mase is really getting at here ties into a much bigger conversation, and Kwame Brown touched on this too. A lot of times, people jump on these big platforms and repeat, well, this is what we've heard about this player, but nobody ever stops to question where that information is actually coming from. And more importantly, are the people feeding that information even in a position morally to judge somebody like Jaylen Brown in the first place? Hold up, because that matters. Because when media personalities just run with whatever narrative powerful people around the league are pushing, sometimes the audience never hears the full truth. Now that doesn't automatically mean every report is fake or wrong, but sometimes narratives get created specifically to paint certain players in a negative light because they're not moving exactly how certain organizations or brands want them to move. And that's where things start getting tricky, because you can't sit there and praise Jaylen Brown publicly as this intelligent, community-driven brother who does all these positive things, then immediately turns around and keeps repeating negative narratives about him without questioning where those narratives even came from. If he's genuinely doing all these impactful things in communities and trying to uplift people, like I always say whenever I talk about Jaylen Brown, then why isn't the bigger conversation focused on how unfairly he's being portrayed instead? Why don't people ever say, maybe this image being painted about him isn't actually accurate? And girl, we all know part of the reason some people won't challenge those narratives is because they don't want to lose access. They don't want sources cutting them off behind the scenes because those relationships are part of how they stay plugged in professionally. So I'm not even necessarily telling people to completely change what they're doing. Just be honest about why you're doing it. But don't try to make Jaylen Brown look like some villain when nobody can clearly point to something truly awful that he's actually done. He's still publicly supported Kyrie Irving. And hold up, didn't a lot of later conversations around those vaccine situations eventually make some people feel like Kyrie was unfairly demonized at the time anyway? Then you've got Jaylen Brown speaking about economic empowerment and wanting to bring a Black Wall Street type vision into the Boston Celtics community up in the Massachusetts area. And of course, certain people immediately looked at that sideways too. Now recently, there's also been this whole conversation surrounding Jason Tatum. You know, some people interpreted Jaylen Brown's comments this season as him being happy because it was finally his opportunity to fully lead the team himself. But if you actually listened carefully to what he was saying, it sounded more like he felt the team had been counted out completely after all the behind-the-scenes moves and expectations that people thought would hurt them. And despite all that, they still had the Celtics sitting second in the Eastern Conference around All-Star break.
They were honestly outperforming what a lot of people expected from them. And they were basically sitting in a similar position compared to previous years when Tatum was healthy and available. So maybe Jaylen Brown can simply take pride in what he accomplished without it automatically being a shot toward Tatum. And remember, he even wanted Tatum to appear on that stream with him. Officially, Tatum just never joined the stream. Are those two best friends? Nah, clearly not. Both of them have pretty much admitted that publicly already. But at the same time, when you watch them interact, they still seem cool with each other overall. Everybody doesn't have to constantly hang out off the court or post each other online every day for there to be respect there. I mean, look at Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Those two basically feel like enemies nowadays, and yet people still view them as one of the greatest superstar sidekick duos in NBA history. So sometimes fans read way too deeply into body language and friendships instead of focusing on basketball. At the end of the day, if people are going to criticize Jaylen Brown, then my biggest thing is simple. Make sure those sources aren't just repeating a narrative because certain powerful people personally dislike him. Is the criticism actually legitimate, or is it just politics and personal bias getting mixed into basketball conversations? Because nobody has really been able to show me anything concrete that makes Jaylen Brown some terrible guy. And honestly, he had every reason to feel frustrated about Team USA. This man was one of the best American players in basketball. He had literally just won both Finals MVP and Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And then you still leave him off the roster? How exactly is he supposed to react to that? That's the part people keep ignoring. But anyway, let me know what y'all think down in the comments about this whole situation. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.